1, 2, 3, let's go.
Wednesday afternoon, hoping you will tune into our show.
At some stage in their life, even if it's when they're young or middle-aged or whatever, that there is someone, a particular someone, they would not want to attend their funeral. It sounds harsh, doesn't it? We might think, well, when somebody dies, isn't that a time to bring people together, where family, because there's lots of rifts in families, there always has been, always will be, and it may be that some are too deep to heal in a lifetime. And I know of one or two people. There was a lady, actually, she used to be a customer of mine, lovely lady she was, and she had fallen out with her mother. I think when I knew her, she, as I say, she was a customer. I think it had happened about 8 years before, and she had a sister. This lady, this customer of mine, and anyway, the mother died a couple of years later. And I said to this lady, I said, will you be going to the funeral? She said, no, I won't be. She said, my sister's tried to persuade me to let everything go and to, the mother's gone now, but I can't do it. And she said, we had such a deep falling out. She didn't really go into the details, but she said, I'm a forgiving, loving person. And I believe she was. She was a very lovely person, but she wouldn't go to her mother's funeral. Now, that may be unusual, I don't know. But as I say, we all know there can be rifts in families. I mean, I was going to say, I can't really imagine myself stipulating to my family that I don't want a particular person to be there. But actually, having said that, I consider myself someone who forgives. Life's too short and all that, but there are some things that are very difficult to forgive, particularly if a person doesn't indicate they want to be forgiven. So that's kind of a bit of a difficult one. But now I think about it, there probably would be somebody who I would say to my family, my close family, look, when anything happens to me, I really would prefer it if that person wasn't there. I mean, the other side of that, of course, could be that person wouldn't want to be there. But there we are. So I could see that. But maybe when one is faced, if you like, with an illness or something which indicates the end could be nigh, maybe one would adopt a more forgiving, loving stance and say, look, if anyone wants to come to celebrate my existence, then that's great. So I rather hope that's what I would do. But as things are in my mind at the moment, having never really thought about this before, I could see myself saying, actually, I prefer that person wasn't there.
I know that'll be me. You'd be like,
Sorry, you say you'd be the same, or you think that's the person I don't want to come to mind?
Yeah, I'm saying I would be the person you don't want to. Yeah.
How did you guess that so quickly? I want you there to keep the spirits up, Em, because I would. You'd have everybody laughing.
Yeah, what I don't get is, so, do people plan their funeral? Do they sit down and say, well, you know what, like people plan their will, don't they? So people write out their will. Yeah. Do they include it in their will to say, well, if I do die, I don't want this person at my funeral, and if they don't include it in their will, how do they go about it? Because I found it strange when I left. I saw it on the news and I thought, this is hilarious. How did this guy know that he was going to die before Nicola Sturgeon? Nicola Sturgeon could have died before him.
Yeah, this is what people say. They don't really write it down. Some might write it down. For example, many years ago, my dad told me, if you're alive while I've gone, because it's a common tradition. I won't say it's a tradition, but it's a common thing with people from where I am, the Yorubas. When people die, they like to throw a very big party.
Right.
Back then, I'm not talking about the present Nigeria right now where austerity is killing everybody, the economy is bad and everything. They love to.
The leader of our gang will make the show go with a bang and fund the aim of everything customers and fund the aim of everything customers.
Back then, I'm not talking about the present Nigeria right now where austerity is killing everybody, the economy is bad and everything. They love to throw massive party. So what most of them do is the Muslims do bury their dead the same day if it's still within certain hours of the day. If it's gone past 5 in the evening in the day, they bury it first thing the next day morning. Then they can now throw a big party maybe a year or 2 or 3 years after.
Right.
But there are some who are not Muslims, and this is what they do. I've come across few like that. When their old ones die, this is more common with the elderly ones,
Right.
the people in their 80s, 90s, and stuff like that. When they die, if there's always a rift in the party, in the family sometimes saying, oh, you can't take decision, or you can. There's always a loggerhead, and they postpone the party. Party sometimes could be postponed for 5 years.
Wow.
So we are not ready now. We have not. Yeah, I've seen situations like that. We're not ready now. We are not in agreement. So they leave the corpse in the mortuary for 5 years. And you know the deplorable condition of some Nigerian mortuaries. I'm not saying all the mortuaries because there are some private mortuaries in Nigeria that are doing very well. There are some military mortuaries that are well, but there's some mortuaries. And they leave the dead there for many years. By the time they bring it out after 5 years or 2 years or 3 years, you see the condition of. So my dad once told me and said, look, if you're alive when I die, don't let my body stay more than 1 month in the mortuary. 1 month. Even if you don't have money to do like, just take me, dig the ground, and put me in there and let me go. Let that body go to rest. So people do say before they die and say, look, if I die, these and these. I'll give an example of one of my uncle when he passed on. He said in his coffin, there must be a football, a Manchester United jersey, his Bible, and so many other things must be buried with him. So people do say, this is what I want when I'm gone. This is what I want. This is the respect I want from these. Yeah. If I don't want this person in my funeral, that person must not come. And they'll pass it to that person. This is what he said. He doesn't want you in his funeral. And you must respect that. So people do say what they want when they have gone. What they want their family to do and who they don't want there and stuff like that. It does happen. Yeah.
Wow. I never knew you could have somebody that would, pre-choose their own funeral invitee list way before they die. How do you know you're going to die first? How do you know? That this is the thing. Yeah, sorry, bro.
No, I wasn't. I coughed. I didn't try to say something. I coughed.
Yeah. What baffles me is, how do you know? Because nobody knows when you're going to die. We all can't see past a certain time period. Of course, if you're terminally ill, that's a different case. But I know somebody that is terminally ill, was given 6 months, 10 years ago, and is still alive.
Still living.
Yeah. So
still living.
Yeah, so it's impossible to actually predict the day that you're going to die. So how does one now pre-choose or pre-select their funeral list, and that's baffling to me, because it's like, yeah.
No, I was only going to say, I mean, when famous people die, it turns out that many of them have selected the sort of funeral service they might have with the songs or the hymns. I mean,
Yeah.
I think somebody in Monty Python, going back years, he's around now. I think Eric Idlers. He recorded the song from one of their films, "Always Look on the Bright Side of Life," and I think he has said he wants that to be one of the songs.
It's me and my brother, Trevor and Femi, South.